let me tell you why what this brother bringing out is so paramount to the Black and Latino community, right? Because let me tell you what they love more. You understand? Than just fulfilling their lust, because that's all that it is. They love seeing a weak Black or Hispanic man. You understand? They love being able to look at a man and say, I can conquer him. You understand? They love seeing Black and Latino men and saying, you understand, I feel safe around him. Right. That's what they want to feel like. They want to feel like white women want to come around you and feel like they ain't got to clutch their purse. Right. You understand? White men want to come around you and feel like they ain't got to lock their car doors. You understand? They want you to be soft and effeminate. And that destroys all of us. You know why that destroys all of us, man? Because Black men, we're supposed to be protectors. We're supposed to be warriors. We're supposed to be masculine. Right. That's why they want you to shave your beards. That's why they want you to grow your braids. They don't want you to have a sense of masculinity. You understand? That's why you look on the damn covers, they got A$AP Rocky is from Harlem. He married to Rihanna, but you look on the magazine cover, they got him walking like a woman and Rihanna walking strong. And you know who that's for? That's for white people. Right. That's so they can look at A$AP and say he's acceptable. He's soft. Right. We like that. Black man, you ain't supposed to be soft. You not. You understand? Don't you know that Jesus Christ came from the ghetto? It said, could any good thing come from Nazareth? Could any good thing come from Harlem? You understand me? Could any good thing come from Brownsville? Could any good thing come from the South Bronx? It said Christ was an austere man. Right. It said we feared thee. You understand? Everybody think Christ is out here handing out hugs and rainbows and all that. He said he flipped tables and made a scourge of whips. Right. You understand? Flipped over the tables. Whooping somebody's ass is not outside the spirit of Christ. Right. Remember that. But you know what the problem is? Your pastor got you thinking you're supposed to be soft and wear a suit and hard-bottom shoes, and that's what makes you a man of God. No, obeying God is what makes you a man of God. Right. Not having a three-piece suit, not robbing your grandmother of all the tithes, not pulling up in a Bentley. That ain't what makes a man of God. Right. You understand? This Bible tells you what makes a man of God. Give me Isaiah 13 and 12. You understand? What the brothers bringing out is so heavy is because they want to break the spirit of Black and Latinos. Right. You understand? Like, let me give you another example. Cinco de Mayo just passed, right? Who goes harder on Cinco de Mayo than white college students who voted for Trump? You understand? It be them white boys wearing sombreros, eating tacos, you understand, on May 5th. And then the next day they chant build the wall. Because white people don't only want you to work for them, don't only want you to serve them, they want to devour your spirit. They want to snatch your masculinity. You understand? They want to snatch everything is that makes you you. That's why they robbed Harlem. You understand? That's why we on Malcolm X Boulevard. And how many Black businesses is here? Right. On Malcolm X Boulevard? You talking about, you understand, when Harlem had the Harlem Renaissance? You talking about when millionaires like C.J. Walker came out of here? You understand? But what happened to the Cotton Club? What happened to Lennox Lounge? You understand? What happened to all the Black businesses? You know what happened? We gave them away because they ate our spirit up and said, your spirit needs to be American. You understand that? Get out there and put a rainbow flag on. They doing it to us. Listen, you turn around, you're going to go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and you're going to see the pride flag mixed with the Puerto Rican flag. Because they're trying to make gay an identity. You understand? They're trying to take your plight, civil rights, everything that happened inside of America, and equate it to a life decision for you to blow some rod as a man. Are you kidding me? As a man, you're supposed to be a conqueror. You ain't supposed to be getting conquered. Right. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 13 verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
Black man, that's you. You more precious than fine gold. I don't care if you live in check to check. I don't care if you got 2 F's on your record. Right. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you grew up in the projects of the block. Right. You're supposed to be fine gold. Right. You understand? God values us above everybody on the earth. We're supposed to be that fine gold. You know what the problem is? We're diluted. We're diluted with pride. We're diluted, you understand, with American philosophies. We're diluted by the poison that they've given us in democracy, in capitalism, in Christianity, in everything that they poisoned us with. And you know what the Lord said? The Lord said that we got to go into the furnace. The Lord said we got to go into the furnace because that's how you get pure gold. You take pure gold, you put it in the fire. Once you put it in the fire, it burns out those impurities. That's what we need to do. You understand? Read.
Even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
You understand? Ophir was a gold mine where they got the best gold at. Like today, you get silver from Italy. You understand? Black man, that's you. You're supposed to be the best gold on planet Earth.
Right.
You understand? We're supposed to be the greatest nation in the world. And not because we can dribble a basketball. I mean, don't get it twisted. I want the Knicks to win in 7. You understand? But that ain't no real victory for us. That ain't helping Harlem get businesses back.
Right.
That's a pseudo celebration. You understand? All that has nothing to do with us rising as a people. You understand me? But here's what does: realizing who we are, taking back our spirit, taking back our identity. Coming back together as a nation, as a people. Because everybody else do it. You understand? Listen, Russia, you think you could be gay in Russia? You think you could be gay in Ukraine? Listen, go try and be a homosexual in Uganda. You getting put to death. You understand? America tolerates that. America doesn't just tolerate that. America fans the flames of homosexuality. America embraces it. You understand? Because this is Babylon. This is the home of every foul spirit. This is the place that's supposed to be the lake of fire, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. You understand? And what was Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed? Why? You understand? Because of all the homosexuality that was going on. Black man, you got to take your spirit back. Hispanic man, you got to take your spirit back, man. You understand? You can't just be quiet about the things that go on around you, because silence is agreement. Hear that good? Thank you, brother. You understand? If you are not quiet about, the Lord is a man of war. You understand? I'm not just against, you understand, alternative lifestyles. I'm at war with it. Because it destroys our people, man. And then you wonder why we got monkeypox. Monkeypox ain't enough to change your life. You understand? Y'all don't know monkeypox is an STD? Why you think that when you saw that lesbian sister on the news, she had all them bumps around her mouth, on her tongue, on her face? Because that's where the sin is. You understand? That's what she was sinning with. You understand? You remember when AIDS first came out? What community was it affecting the most? Because the Lord told you, thy blood shall pursue thee if you want to live an alternative lifestyle. And what type of disease is AIDS? It's bloodborne. You understand? It's transmitted by blood. And then you wonder why you're going to be in an AIDS war dying of a cough. You understand? You understand? Unless you Magic Johnson and you got enough money for the cocktail. You understand? But now how many of y'all got the bread to do that? How many of y'all got medical bills piling up right now? You don't even want to go to the doctor, worry about another bill. That's how we live inside of America. You understand? And that's how you gonna die inside of America if you don't change your life, if you don't change your lifestyle, man. You can't be like Diddy. You understand? You can't, listen, I watched that Diddy trial. I don't ever want to be called a freak. Diddy's a freak. That cat is freaky as hell. You understand? I'm reading through that case file. I'm like, Jesus Christ. You understand what the hell he did to Cassie? You understand? And not even that, you know what I'm saying? I think she's less of a victim than what she portraying. You understand? She seemed a little complicit. And she ain't no black woman anyway. She Filipino. So I don't really care what she do, to be honest with you. You understand? But as far as Diddy, that's an animal. We can't live like that. You understand? You can't be, listen, that's why they don't even call it a Rico no more. They call it a Freako. Real talk. You the first person to get indicted, you understand, for being too freaky. But we ain't supposed to have those impurities. We're supposed to be what? Read that verse from the top.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
You know what makes a man more precious than fine gold? Let me translate this to y'all. Because in this climate, you know what makes a high value man? Somebody who's going to control his lust.
Right.
Somebody who's going to obey the laws of God.
Right.
See, y'all thought Diddy was a high value man because he got 800 million in the bank. Because he's almost estimated at $1 billion. You understand? Meanwhile, he got his girl getting trained. You understand? Meanwhile, he out here throwing Molotov cocktails at people's cars. You understand? That ain't no high value man. A high value man obeys God.
Right.
You understand? A high value man follows the laws, statutes, and commandments inside of this book, the Bible. And this ain't no fairy tale. You understand? This ain't no white man's book neither.
Right.
You understand? This book ain't got a goddamn thing to do with white people.
Right. That's right.
Black man, this is your history book.
That's right.
This is your record. You read about Moses. What y'all like to talk about? The ancestors. This is your ancestors' books. God split the Red Sea for you. God called down plagues for us. You understand? Just like he got plagues in America right now for us.
Right.
What y'all think COVID-19 was? You understand? You know who hurt COVID? You know who's hurting under COVID-19? White America.
Right.
You know who came up under COVID-19? Black America.
Right.
You understand? We was making more money on that damn benefits than we was going to work.
Right.
We got a 4-month paid vacation with COVID.
Right.
We came up with them PPP loans while white businesses shut down.
Right.
And wasn't that like ancient Egypt? You understand? When Egypt was in darkness, Goshen had light. Goshen was where the Israelites were. Goshen was where the blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians was at. You understand? White people crying about a recession right now. You understand? Black man, you've been in recession since 1492.
Right.
You understand? Every time they talk about recession, we turn around, we like, what the hell y'all talking about? It's the same over here. You understand? The only thing that we affected by is the price of eggs. We affected by the price of eggs and the price of milk. White people worried about how they gonna ship cars over here and sell them. You understand? You see the difference? You see the difference. Like we're worried about consuming. They're worried about business. They're worried about economics. You understand? And the reason why they can do that is because they know how to play the game. We don't even know who's wearing the same jersey as us, man. You want to know who's on your team? Look at this sign right here. This is your team. There's all the players on your team. The blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians inside of America, we are allies. We are brothers.
Right.
And we better start acting like it. You understand? Otherwise, prepare to lose more of Harlem. You understand? Like they try to destroy Harlem. The only reason why they want the projects here is so they got somebody to sweep the streets. So they got somebody to come work retail. You understand? Like, you want to know where all the black businesses is at? They on the tables. You understand? Until they build a city bike rack. Now you can't even put your business on 125th Street no more. You understand? But why the hell don't we got TJ Maxx? You understand? Like, why is it that all these businesses is owned by another race? Because we gave it away. You understand? We gave it away. We don't want it. We're the only people that you got to tell to buy black, buy brown. We're the only people who got to say, yeah, that's Puerto Rican owned. You understand? That's black owned. You ain't never heard, you understand, buy Chinese. You heard made in China, though. That's what you heard. You look on all the clothes, everything that's out, it's going to say made in China, made in India. That's coming from Bangladesh. We got no manufacturing. You understand? Why? Because we gave it away, because we wanted to integrate. Don't nobody come over here and integrate inside of America. Why do you think there was Little Italy? You understand? Why do you think you go to Queens, all the East Indians live next door to each other? Why is it, you understand, that you go down the canal and then there's Chinatown? You understand? Now, you tell me, is a Mexican opening up a taco spot in Chinatown? Puerto Rican man, you opening up an empanada spot in Chinatown? You understand? My Jamaican brother, anybody from the Caribbean, you opening up a Caribbean restaurant in Chinatown, they ain't letting you in.
Right.
Now, who gonna call them racist? Nobody. Because that's what you supposed to do. You understand? But you know what we did in Harlem? Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. You understand? That's what we want to do. Listen, we want to let Eminem in the rap. Now listen, Now he's the rap god. He can't even be the king. He gotta be the god of rap. Are you kidding me? Meanwhile, he rap about homosexuals Vicodin and raping his mother. Come on, man. What are we talking about here, man? That's what happens when you let the devil in. You see, and we ain't talking about no red man with no horns. We ain't talking about somebody. Yeah, he might have a pitchfork, but he gonna be from Alabama,
Right.
You understand? And if he's red, it's because he stays in the sun too long.
Right.
That's why we call him rednecks.
Right.
They drew some horns on him, and you forgot it was the white man.
Right.
He got a little civilized and put a suit and a briefcase on, and you thought he wasn't a gangster.
Right.
You understand? Meanwhile, they sell all the drugs. And black people were crying at George Bush Sr., you understand, when he died. Meanwhile, he was the head of the Iran-Contra scandal. He was the head of the CIA when they was bringing all the cocaine and all the crack into the ghetto. You understand? Now, Freeway Rick Ross went and did his time. Oliver North gonna die an old man in his bed. Ronald Reagan died an old man in his bed. He was the #1 drug dealer on planet Earth. Black man, you ain't no drug dealer. You understand? You sell drugs for 15 years, you get 15 years. Come home, can't even beg. You understand? White man sell drugs, turn the White House to a trap house, and everybody loves him. You understand? Nancy Reagan was a trap queen, man. Those are the facts. And then they're the ones that come and police us. You the #1 criminal on the earth. How the hell you gonna tell us what justice is?
Right.
We better realize that we're a nation inside of a nation. And you know what else we better realize? Read that from the top one more time.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
Black man, you supposed to be fine gold. And you ain't fine gold selling all the dope in Harlem. You understand? You ain't fine gold being like Biggie when he said he was just trying to sell some crack to feed his daughter. So the whole neighborhood got to turn into the upside down so you can feed your daughter. Our daughters, our sons got to die so you can feed your daughter. Where's the brotherhood, man? Where's the love? He said spread love, Biggie. You understand? Where's the love? You wasn't spread love. You was spreading hate to your brother, man. You understand? And then you got rich off of it. And then you made a song called the 10 Crack Commandments. And we danced to it. And we partied to it. You understand? Like, we gotta wake up, man. We gotta change, you understand, our morals. That's what we need. You know what our problem is? We have no moral code.
Right.
We need a common identity. The common identity is that we are God's chosen people. We are Israelites.
Right.
But once we have an identity, once we realize we're supposed to come together, we need to have rules.
Peace, brothers.
Peace, brother. You understand? We need to have rules. We need to have law amongst each other. We need to know I will not sell drugs to you, man. Matter of fact, I shouldn't sell drugs at all. I shouldn't be no criminal. You understand? We have to turn around and we have to have a common moral code once we come together so we can operate. You know how the job operate? Job got HR. HR got rules. That's why the job functions. Because there's a handbook that they give you. And when you read that handbook, it tells you what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, how you're supposed to dress, the things that you can bring into the office, when you can bring them in. It even gives you codes of sexuality. It's called sexual harassment. There's things you cannot do. Well, guess what? This is your code book right here. This is the HR department right here. This Bible. And this Bible got something to say about what you eat. You can't eat pork, crab, shrimp, lobster. Can't eat those bottom feeders. It tells you how you're supposed to dress. If you a man, you ain't supposed to be dressing like no woman. If you a woman, you ain't supposed to be dressing like no man. You can't be like Young M.A. You understand? And it even tells you how you're supposed to act sexually. You understand? If you a man, you're supposed to deal with a woman. Hell, maybe more than one woman. I got a couple wives.
Right.
You understand? But we ain't doing no freaky things like Diddy.
Right.
You understand me? Ain't no freakos happening over here.
That's right.
Nasty mother. Let me tell you something, man. I can't even read them files. They make me sick to my stomach. I'm like, this is too crazy to me. Y'all just give me the clip notes. I'll go watch it on TikTok later or something. I can't keep reading this right now. You understand? surviving Diddy, but you know what? What about surviving the Catholic Church?
Right.
Didn't they run the largest child molestation ring on the planet?
Right.
Didn't they say, give me John 3:16, for God so loved the world, and then go molest your children? Didn't they do that? Didn't they say Jesus loves the little children? He ain't loved them children like that. You understand? That's the problem. They ran the largest child molestation ring on the planet Earth.
Right.
They ain't get indicted. You understand? How long was... Where's surviving Harvey Weinstein? You understand? Who's that other sick white man that he married the daughter? What is it? Woody Allen?
Woody Allen, yes.
Woody Allen adopted a little Asian girl and then groomed her from the time she was about 5 and then married her. You think he wasn't sleeping with her when she was 7, 8 years old? You understand? That's the white man. And that's the person who gave you Pride Month. That's the person like you know what blew my mind last year? I get on the subway and I see MTA in a rainbow heart. And I'm like, what does blowing rod have to do with riding the train? Like, why do I gotta be in transit just trying to get past? And you turn around and show me pride flag. Yo, man, this place is sick.
Thank you, brother.
And we at the end. Appreciate you, brother. We are at the end. Time is short. You understand? And if you can't see that, what every black, Latino, and Native Indian has to do is make a decision. Because God ain't 50-50. Ain't no gray area with God.
Right.
It's black or white.
Right.
You understand? It's life or death. It's hate or love. And you need to decide, are you with his people? Do you love him or do you hate what he gave us? You understand? Are you going to side with Babylon? And if you side with Babylon, you know what happens? You die with Babylon. That's what we gotta decide. Man, if y'all haven't, grab a flyer. No, we having a cookout at the end of the summer. You know what I'm saying? All blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are available. Listen, leave your white friends at home.
Right.
Real talk. Do not bring Dylan Roof Storm to our cookout. 1, he can't get in. 2, we don't trust him. Let this noise pass. We got classes going on all throughout the week. You understand? We got real history on Monday. You understand? Not that whitewashed garbage. You understand? We got brotherhood and unity on Tuesday. We got the law. The laws of God on Wednesday. Scripture breakdown on Thursday. Hebrew. Our native tongue. The Lashon Kodash on Friday. A Sabbath service on Saturday. Sunday, we do a training with hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
You understand? A lot of these brothers just graduated from Hebrew Academy. You understand? Where they went through an intense and rigorous tutelage in order to make sure that they could protect themselves and their people, man. You understand? We out here doing this across the country. We got food drives, prison programs, you understand? And I'm going to give it back to this brother, but you make sure that you check us out, all right?
And we calling on everybody. Every Thursday night, we got a radio show called Cross the Line Radio. You can call in and talk about anything you want. We can talk about the virgin birth, immaculate conception, is Jesus God, who we should pray for, is salvation for everyone, can everyone be saved? Listen, all you got to do is call us up Thursday night, 10 p.m. The number is 917-779-9499. Cross the line if you think you got what it takes.